everyone, I'm Tovah and thanks for joining today's flow class. Today we're going to be getting a little bit sweaty, doing some moving and some grooving, so let's get ready to practice. Starting seated on your mat, and if you like, maybe tucking a cushion or something underneath your bum, and this could be kneeling or cross-legged. I personally really like to sit kneeling quite often. I just find it keeps my chest really nice and open and is a little less tense through the hips, but you definitely find the position that works best for you, keeping your hips happy and your breathing muscles nice and open and ready to go. And if you like here, you can close your eyes or just take a quiet gaze. Just taking the first couple of breaths of today's practice just to ground yourself to get ready for what's coming ahead. And we're going to start with some nice warming breaths or breaths of fire or Kapalabhati, using the Sanskrit word. And so with this type of breathing, it's really energizing to the body. It's a great core toning activity. It's great for detoxification, and it can be really good anytime maybe you just need a little bit of a pick-me-up. So that could be first thing in the morning if you're having a little bit of trouble getting your mojo going, or maybe it's late in the afternoon, you still have work to do, but you're just feeling like that kind of afternoon slump or hump. Those would also be good times that we could practice this breath. But we're going to use it as a warming, energizing breath in our practice today. So you want to focus on breathing out more so than breathing in. So if you focus on the breathe out, your breath in should almost happen like a vacuum. It's going to happen automatically. So what you should feel, and you might want to put your hands on your tummy here, and you'll probably see it once I start taking the breath with my tummy, is that you should see your tummy almost doing like this pumping action, because you're really almost forcing the breath outward. So it's a quick forced exhalation, and that's what gives us that fiery breath. So I'll show you one round what it looks like, and feel free to join in with me if you already know how to do it. And if you're not sure, watch for one round and then let's give it a go. I should note that this isn't a breath that's appropriate for anybody who is expecting. So if there's any expecting mothers out there watching today's practice, I would suggest that you just sit and work on your regular deep breathing as opposed to joining into this breath. So perfect, let's take a big inhale, and then we're going to aim to exhale through the nose. So we're going to do that 3 more times together, and you should kind of notice after you stop the breath that it's almost like a flood of energy just comes over you. So try to notice how you feel right after we stop the fire's breath and we go back to our regular breathing. Okay, here we go. Let's take a big deep breath in, and let's breathe. Excellent. Just taking a few regular deep breaths here. So remember, you want to be nice and comfortable and feel that you can take big deep breaths, and you can really exercise your diaphragm. You could also do this standing if that's more comfortable for you. Good, let's go for round 2. Big breath in, and let's breathe that fire out. Perfect. And don't worry if partway through, if this is new to you and you just all of a sudden took a big breath in feeling like you weren't catching your breath. That's completely normal and that can happen. So just practice as we go. As well, this breath can definitely help release any congestion in your sinuses. So if you need to excuse yourself for a tissue, go ahead and come on back. We'll take our last round here. Big breath in and rapid breaths out. Good. All right, so now that we're already feeling energized and a little bit warm, come off your prop if you're using the prop. And we're gonna get down into back line. And we're just gonna start with a few nice spinal rolls. So just tucking your knees in, your legs could be crossed or they could be straight here. And you're just gonna rock up and down. And you can make this a little smaller, maybe you don't come all the way up to seated. Wherever this feels good for you. And you want to try to round your back on the way down so that you're not clunking against the floor, that you really are nice and smooth and your back is like a nice easy rocking horse where it's catching the ground all the way down and all the way up. So just giving your back a nice little massage here. Good, and on the next one, let's come on all the way up to seated. And just help yourself if you didn't easily rock up there. And then we're going to come on through, getting onto hands and knees. You might want to just back up so that you're more in the middle of your mat if you're not already there. And kind of like a wave-like action, we're going to link into child's pose. So we're going to press back into child's pose. And then like a wave, I want you to come out of child's pose, thinking about moving through cat pose. So we're going to lift our hips, getting into that rounded cat back position. Get all the way forward, and then I want you to slide back into child's pose. So rounding up into cat as you come up to the top, and then pressing back to child's pose. So just rolling it up, and then shifting your weight back and resetting. Rolling it up. And then shift back and reset. And just feeling that movement through your spine. So you round your back. And then we release, come back. Lifting your head when you finish that round of cat. All the way up. Lift your head and then slide your hips back. Let's do one more. Rounding up. And pulling back. And just pausing for a couple of breaths in child's. And then let's slide all the way through, come onto your tummy. Hands coming underneath your shoulders, but just really light in the hands. And we're gonna inhale, lift for cobra. And exhale, fold all the way flat. Inhale, lift for cobra. And exhale, all the way flat. And if you felt you wanted to use your hands just a little bit to lift a smidge higher here, go ahead. But still aiming to keep your lower ribs on the mat. So not peeling all the way up like we would if we were doing upward facing dog. Keep the hips down, keep the bottom ribs down. And if you're not sure, reach for where those bottom ribs are, and then let's try to keep them on the mat. Couple more. Inhale and exhale flat. And inhale, lift your chin and eyes. And exhale flat. And one more, big inhale, arching your back gently. And exhale, come all the way down. Pressing back to downward facing dog from your knees or from your toes. Remember, it really doesn't matter if you go from your knees or from your toes, wherever your body is most calm and comfortable, and where you can do it without arching your back or getting kind of a wiggly, warm back. Looking to your hands, hop or step there. Exhale, relax your back, lower your head and neck. And then inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Taking a sun salutation here, exhale, swan dive forward, soften the knees, bow your head. Inhale, lift your back and lengthen. And exhale, reach for the floor, hop or step back. From your toes or from your knees, melting down, elbows wrap your sides. Tuck the toes under and inhale, peel away from the floor, cobra. Release and press to downward facing dog. Drawing the belly button in and up towards your heart as you shift your weight back. Spread your fingers wide and relax your neck here. Look to your hands, hopper step there. Exhale as you melt forward. Soft knees here. Relax your neck. Maybe give it a little shake like yes and no. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Maybe back bending at the top. And exhale as you pour forward. Inhale, collarbones back, eyes look forward. Reaching to the floor, stepping back to plank, and then melting down. Inhale, one vertebrae at a time as you lift. And exhale, press to downward facing dog. Remember, from the knees is always okay. Shifting back, tipping your sitting bones high to the roof so that you're flattening your back more. Look to your hands, hopper step there. Exhale as you fold down. And inhale, energize as you lift. And taking one more salutation here, core to the front. It's like you're folding over your thighs, and if that's a little bit of a struggle, bend your knees a little bit more so you're getting your hips going in the right direction. Inhale, come up part way. That might be ankles, shins, could be up to the knees. Reaching to the floor, stepping back, coming all the way down, and inhaling for cobra or taking upward facing dog if that's part of your practice. Release and press to downward facing dog. Shifting the hips way back, making sure all of your knuckles are really focused and pressing into the mat to keep your wrists nice and safe. Eyes look to hands, hopper step there. Exhale, relax your back, lower your head. And inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Bring your hands down to your heart in Anjali Mudra. Perfect. From here, we're going to do a little bit more dynamic movement. So today it's all about getting that fire going, getting our breath going here, getting a little bit of a sweat on. So take your legs shoulder width or maybe just a little bit wider, and if it's more comfortable for your hips, point your toes a little bit out towards the corners of your mat, just making sure that our knees are always following our toes. We're going to come all the way down into Malasana position, so this low yogic squat, and then let's power up and push up, reach up. And let's come all the way down. And remember, it's fine if you need to use your hands on your thighs here to push up, come all the way up and then reach up. And come back down to the bottom. Press up, reach up. And one more time, come all the way down. And press up, reach up, and draw our hands back down to our heart. Taking one sun salutation here. Inhale, arms sweep up and overhead. And exhale, we swan dive down. Relax your head and neck. Inhale, lengthen the back, eyes look ahead. Exhale as you reach for your mat, step back to plank and keep exhaling as you lower. And then inhale, big breath, shine your heart forward. Exhale as you press up and away to downward facing dog. Remember, your ears should touch your arm bone if you tip your head to the side here, so just checking your neck alignment. Looking to your hands, hopper step there. Exhale, relax your back, lower your head. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Bring your hands down to your heart, finding your center. Take a big step back with your right leg as we're preparing to come into triangle pose Trikonasana. So back foot is flat, front toes are facing straight ahead. And you want to straighten the legs here, but not lock them. So if you feel like you're locking as opposed to flexing your thighs, then micro bend the knee a little bit. As you stretch your arms out, draw your hips back as far as you can. And then you stretch to the front and bring your hand wherever it comfortably reaches, focusing on rotating and opening through the hips, the chest, light pressure on the bottom hand, and imagine that you're turning your belly button up to the roof. And if you notice that you're kind of rounded or you're not that open, bring the hand a little higher on the shin. It should give you room to rotate further. Inhale, come all the way up. As you bend the front knee, flip the front palm and then tip back to come into Proud Warrior, Viparita Virabhadrasana. Excellent, press back up, straightening the legs, lifting the kneecaps, extend your arms. Bend back into your front knee, bring the front elbow on your thigh, and then bring your top hand and reach it over your head. Keep lengthening, rooting and extending here as you push into the back toes, the whole foot, and then stretch over with that arm. Same thing, you want to rotate our belly button towards the roof like you're looking underneath your arm, not letting your body collapse into your left shoulder here. So there should be a space between your shoulder and your ear. Keep reaching as you windmill the top arm down to the floor and reach for the floor, planting your right hand on the floor and then sweep your left hand up to the ceiling, coming into Parivrita Parshvanottanasana, revolved side angle. Untwist, stepping up to the top of your mat. Exhale, relax your back, lower your head. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up. And exhale, sun salutation or vinyasa, fold down. Lengthen and lift. Coming down to the floor, finding plank. Easing yourself down. Taking a nice, gentle back bend here, cobra or upward dog. And then transition to downward facing dog. Think about drawing your belly button in and up towards your spine as you tip your hips. Settle in for a breath. Look to your hands, hopper step there. And exhale, fold back down. Inhale, strong breath, come all the way to the top. Bring your hands down to your heart. As we take that series on the opposite side, stepping back with your left leg. Turning the back foot flat, front toes are straight. We lift, extend the legs, flex the thighs, hips draw back as you reach forward. And then find a gentle resting place for your bottom hand. We shouldn't be kickstanding here where we're putting a ton of weight on our arm. It should be really light pressure. So it's just enough that you can balance and to help you find your position. Perfect. Inhale, come all the way up. Bend your front knee, flip your front palm, and sit back as we come into proud warrior. Opening up through the front body a little bit more here. Excellent. Come up, straighten both legs. And then come back to a bent front knee. Bring the elbow down. Be strong in this hand like you're holding a weight. And then take the top hand, palm down. So it's your left hand above your head. Reach it all the way over your head to the front of your mat. And then really reach and extend here. So you can feel a much stronger stretch when you really root your whole foot down, especially the pinky toe side. Don't let those pinky toes roll up. Extend, 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 and then you really just keep reaching as we windmill that hand down to the floor. Roll up on the back toes, so toes and knees are both facing forward, and right arm sweeps up towards the roof. Excellent. Untwist, stepping up to the top of your mat. Exhale as you swan dive down. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Taking a sun salutation here. Exhale, pour forward. Building more and more heat, more and more fire today. Inhale, come up partway. And exhale, reach the floor, step back, lower. Inhale, cobra or upward dog as you press your toes down, lift your eyes. Release and find downward facing dog. Breathe deep. Looking to your hands, hopping or stepping there. Exhale, relax your back, lower your head. And inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Bring your hands down to your heart. Taking your feet shoulder width or maybe just a little bit wider as we come back into that Malasana squat. So let's power down. And let's press into our feet, reach up, feel the fire. And come on back down. And press back up, reach to the ceiling, look up. And one more time, pulling yourself back down to the floor and pressing all the way up to the top. Bringing your hands back down to your heart, bringing your feet back together. Stepping back with your right leg, turning it flat to the mat. We're taking triangle pose one more time here. We know how to do it already. Draw your hips back, extend and reach down into triangle. Right arm looking to the roof. Bring your top hand and bring it to your hip. Step your back foot halfway up as you soften the front knee. We're moving into half moon here, and you definitely can use a yoga block if you have one. Bring your thumb in line with your pinky toe down to the floor. So left hand on the floor, about 1 foot to 1.5 feet ahead, and then you're going to pick up your back leg
as we come into half moon, and you only lift your leg as high as you feel comfortable. Maybe taking the hand off your hip, maybe not. Maybe taking your eyes up to the roof as that last step. Good, stepping down, regroup your balance. Don't worry if you lost your balance there, that's our body learning. Let's take a big inhale, reach all the way up to the top. Bring our hands to our heart. Taking one sun salutation here, inhale, sweep up and over. And exhale, swan dive down. Lengthen your back as you lift. Reaching for the floor, hopping or stepping back. Melting all the way down. Inhale as you find that back bend. Shoulders draw down your back. Release and press to downward facing dog. Remember, knees, always a great option here, especially if you're feeling the fire and you're getting a little bit tired in your upper body. Look to your hands, hop or step there. Exhale, relax your back, lower your head. Inhale, big swoop, come all the way up. Bring your hands down to your heart. Excellent. As you keep breathing deep, step back with the left leg coming back into triangle here. Really, this is a nice preparatory pose for half moon. As we draw our hips back, we extend forward and tip down. So this straight up and down position in triangle, or the openness and rotation through the chest and the hips that we're aiming to get in Trikonasana, is the exact position that we're aiming to be in half moon. Perfect. Bring the hand to the hip, bend the front knee, and then slide the back foot up about halfway as you bring your hand down to the floor. Or a block can really help you here if you don't have the rotation open. Thumb in line with pinky toe. So when you come up with the back leg, your hand should be right underneath your shoulder, so you're really nice and stable. As we lift the back leg, we lift the top arm, maybe taking your eyes to the roof, or keep looking at the floor if your balance is a bit of a struggle here. As we open, breathe, finding that best half moon position. Excellent, and stepping down. When you're ready, just standing up tall on your mat. Bringing your hands back to your heart. Perfect, let's take a salutation here. Inhale, arms sweep up and overhead. And exhale, big pour all the way down. Lifting and lengthening partway. Reaching for the floor, hopping or stepping back as you melt down. Inhale, shine your heart ahead. And exhale, press to downward facing dog. Breathe. Eyes look to hands, hop or step there. Exhale, fold, soften your knees, lengthen your neck. Gripping nice and loose here. And then inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Bring your hands down to your heart. Take your feet a little bit wider as we go back into that energizing malasana, fiery squat position today. Let's come all the way to the bottom and then try to press evenly into both feet as you press all the way up and draw all the way back down and press all the way up. Look up if you can. And one more time, come all the way down and press all the way back up. Drawing your hands back to your heart, bringing your feet together here. Perfect. Let's lift the right leg up, coming into tree pose. So finding your balance here, and you can hike your foot up a little bit higher or just leave it kind of organically where it naturally lands. Maybe taking your hands up overhead here, but really finding any tree arm position that you prefer. Good, and slowly coming down. And then let's take the leg up on the opposite side. Just finding a little bit of balance, reaching the arms up. So this probably feels easier. We've already done a half moon, which is a fairly difficult balance pose, so don't worry if you struggled with it. The more you practice, the better you get. Good, and slowly coming down. Perfect, taking one sun salutation here, inhale, sweeping up, and it's like we wipe this way clean as we fold down in vinyasa. Inhale, lengthen your back and lift. Reaching for the floor, hopping or stepping back. As you lower, inhale, eyes lift, chin lifts, release, press to downward facing dog. Find your breath here. Looking to your hands, hopping or stepping there. Exhale, relax your back, lower your head. Inhale, big breath, come all the way up. Bring your hands down to your heart. Coming into chair pose, squeeze the knees, ankles, and thighs together as you come into that semi-seated position or kind of a little awkward squat position. Bring your arms to a place that they can be straight. And this straight arm position can be different for every yogi. So it could be arms wider, it might be more to the front, it might be more overhead, it might be hands together. But be mindful of what's happening with your shoulder. If it's getting really crunchy, if your shoulders are way up by your ears, that's maybe not the best position for you. Also, I want you to think about what's happening with your bottom ribs. So are they flaring way up? Are you really back bending here to bring your arms higher? Can we engage our core and keep our arms straight? That's where I want you to be. That's the fire, that's the money. Perfect, bring your hands down to your heart. Let's move through that dynamic squat one last time as you take your legs just a little bit wider. Reach your arms up, and then let's pull ourselves down to the bottom. And press up, big breath. And pull ourselves down. And press back up. And one more time as we pull ourselves down to the bottom and press ourselves back up to the top. Bring your hands to your heart, but keep your feet wide, and let's take our feet even just a little bit wider. And we're gonna move into forward fold here. So if you wanna take a little bit of a heart opener, back bend here, and then fold forward, bringing your hands down to the floor, or down to your mat, or down to a block or cushion. And you want your legs to be about as wide as your wrists, so about the same position that you would have been in triangle pose. Legs are straight here, so don't give in to bending your knees to make this easier, because we lose a lot of the stretch in our hamstrings there. So go with straight legs, even if that means you need to come up higher at the bottom, that's okay. It's really not about how low you go, it's about getting the best stretch for the area that we're really trying to target. And if your hamstrings are tight, guaranteed you're gonna wanna try to bend your knees, because our body's really good at trying to make things easier for us. So take the more difficult road today. And then try to take the weight more out of your bum, because you'll wanna kind of lean back. Try to shift your weight a little farther forward, so it's really light underneath your heels. Perfect, and then come on back up. I want you to bring your legs closer together, so just take a couple of steps and bring them in. And then I want you to walk your hands around towards your right side. So just coming into a little bit of a twist here. Just relax your neck. And then walking your hands over to the opposite side. Just getting a little more stretch up through the side body. Go ahead and walk your hands back around to the front. And now just let yourself hang here. Like ragdoll, if you want to take your feet just a little bit apart. Just be comfortable. Let your arms relax. Maybe they're touching the floor, behind your calves. Maybe you like to hold the opposite elbows here. But just decompressing your spine. Good, and let's release the palms, and with a flat back, let's lift to come all the way up. Bring your hands down to your heart. And we're just gonna stay here and breathe for the next couple of breaths, as a community, as a group. Being thankful for today's practice, being thankful for our bodies for providing us the strength and the fitness to be able to do today's practice. And to thank our body for everything that it did really well, and even for everything that it struggles with, because it's that struggle that makes us stronger. We shouldn't think of
struggling through a posture as a negative. We should really take that as a positive. That's us learning, that's us growing, that's us getting stronger and better. So bring on the struggle. I hope you enjoyed and you felt the fire of today's practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's finish with just one namaste. Namaste. Have a wonderful day, everyone.